Another problem, after rocket engines shut down, the X-15 would be thrust into a ballistic arc in air so thin that normal aerodynamic control would be impossible. How then could the pilot control the aircraft? The answer? Reaction controls that would allow him to correct roll movement and position the aircraft properly for re-entry through the atmosphere. But the designers knew the problems of control would never be fully solved until an X-15 aircraft was actually built.
Launch checks continue as the pilot tests the attitude control rocket. The high-altitude control system used when the X-15 is on an altitude flight profile above the usable atmosphere. At extremely high altitudes, the conventional aerodynamic control surfaces are not sufficiently responsive for complete flight control. So attitude control rockets are necessary. Pitch and yaw rockets are located in the nose. Roll rockets are located on each wingtip. The underside of the X-15 is now building up a coating of frost on the outside of the liquid oxygen tank due to the intense cold of the liquid oxygen at a temperature of minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The auxiliary power units are now started. Note the exhaust trail going over the horizontal stabilizer. Launch. Light roll-off occurs as the shackles release. The X-15 engine is started, and the aircraft accelerates rapidly, quickly leaving the B-52 far behind. On this flight, the plan called for a buildup of 1,500 pounds per square foot of dynamic pressure before pull-up. Again the launch, photographed by X-15 camera number 1. Note the rapid acceleration as the aircraft drops away from the B-52, and the steep climb-out angle. Speed brakes are extended to permit longer burning time of the engine propellants and provide added aircraft stability during re-entry. Peak altitude of 317,000 feet planned for this flight is now achieved. X-15 camera number 5 shows the pilot's reaction to zero-G state. Camera number 6 shows the control panel and the weightless condition. Note the pages on the pilot's flight checklist. The planned peak altitude accomplished, the aircraft starts on the downhill side of the parabola. As the descent angle increases, the horizon gradually disappears out of the picture. Now the pull-out to level flight, and the horizon once again is seen behind the tail of the aircraft. The pilot banks the X-15 to visually judge for himself the landing site relative to his position. Speed brakes close and the pilot guides the aircraft into an approach pattern for a landing on Rogers Dry Lake.
many times skimming along the fringes of space. Tests that prove that man could fly at hypersonic speed and adjust to control systems used routinely on today's manned spacecraft. 199 times the X-15 was dropped in midair. Top speed, 4,500 miles per hour. Maximum altitude, over 67 miles. Top speed, 4,500 miles per hour. Maximum altitude, over 67 miles. The aeronautics and space data returned by the X-15 went far beyond original design limits, earning it a place in history with other pioneering aircraft.
Someplace I have access to. This is a video that I shot from the patio, and what do you notice about the horizon line? What does the horizon line look like? Straight. It looks like it's straight, right? It looks like it's flat, doesn't it? Right? Okay, this right here is a flat board that I laid on this flat pillar, and then you'll notice that the horizon looks flat. All of the people that are round earthers in here, I need you to understand that no matter where you stand on the planet Earth, the horizon is going to look flat. Okay? We need to agree on that. We need to agree that the horizon is going to look flat. Okay? And I want to show you some examples of that. What I want to look at here is we want to look at a few more horizons. Okay? Now, this is Google Earth. My mouse does your job. There we go. This is Google Earth right here. Now, the flat earthers in the room, you're going to have to work with me here. This is Google Earth. They only have a globe Earth. Okay? They don't have a flat Earth that I can do this on. But what we all can agree on is that there is a horizon line at which we cannot see beyond with our eyes. Okay? If you're a flat earther, that's due to perspective. We can't see past that point, right? If you're a round earther, that's because the Earth curves away from you, right? Okay, but we can all agree, no matter what side we're on, that there's a point beyond which we cannot see with our eyes. Is that true? Yeah. We all agree on this. Okay. And standing on the patio at Seacliff when we were watching that video, we could see the horizon, correct? We could see the horizon. So the horizon, if we calculate the horizon at Seacliff, is right there. That's as far as you can see. It's about 5 miles, 5.5 miles. Okay, so if we look at the whole planet Earth, whether it's round or flat, we don't care. Is that very much of the Earth?
No.
Okay, not at all, right? Okay, so that's Seacliff right there when we're standing on the patio. Now what about if we go a little bit higher? Let's go to the top of the Statue of Liberty. Now if I put the Statue of Liberty right there on the patio, that's how far you can see. Okay? So if you're standing on the top of the Statue of Liberty and you look out 360 degrees, what is the horizon going to look like? It's going to look flat, right? Flat and level, almost to your eyesight, right? Okay, let's go to the top of the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower. That's how far you can see from the top of the Eiffel Tower. And again, is it very much of the Earth? Whether it's round or flat, right? Whether it's round or flat. Okay, let's go a little bit higher. Empire State Building, New York City. Boom, not very far. Okay, what's the tallest building in the world? Where is that located? In Dubai, right? Go to the top of that building. That's how far you can at the top of that building, and you look out 360 degrees. What is the horizon going to look like? It's going to look flat.
What's that distance?
That distance is about 64 miles. So the radius right there is about 64 miles. Okay? Where is the tallest place on the planet Earth that you can stand?
Everest.
Mount Everest, right? Mount Everest is a little under 5 miles tall. If you're standing at the top of Mount Everest, that's what you can see. Okay? Now, if you're standing up there and you look out there, you can't breathe. Well, okay, sorry. Take a deep breath before you get there, right? And you look out. Okay, what's that going to look like? Flat. If you're standing on the top of that mountain and you look out 360 degrees, the horizon is going to look flat. No matter where you're standing on the planet Earth, the horizon is going to look flat. Okay? Now, there have been some people that have tried to get high enough to see the curvature of the Earth. 1 year ago, in a week, so almost exactly, he said we are going to see the entire Earth from his angle. Okay? Now, if we go back, even shutter, if we go back to the horizon line, okay, he went up 1,800, let's see here, jump over one, there we go. Okay, I got it. So if we take his, if we calculate where his horizon is, watch in the yellow circles right here, watch where this point, you can see it?
Yes, where the red is.
Okay? That's how far he would have been able to see. Okay, when he came down and asked him, he said it was inconclusive. He wasn't sure if it was round or flat. Okay? Now, how many of you in here have flown in an airplane? commercial airplane. Okay, you have been higher than him. Okay, and yeah, so if you calculate how high you were, let's go, an average, you can see about, if you see the numbers right over here, 245 miles would be your radius. So right there is from the commercial airplane. Okay, now, people that believe there's a round Earth, when they hear somebody that says they're a flat Earth, they say, get on an airplane and look out the window, is what they say. Okay? But if you get on a window of airplane, look out the window, you're only seeing this much of the horizon, right? And when you look out, those windows are actually curved a little bit, so it's possible that they're distorting that, but you're only seeing this much right here, right? So it kind of looks like it's curved, but I would say that if you were standing at the altitude where that airplane is, and you were to look 360 degrees, what would the horizon look like?
Still flat.
It would look flat. You won't see the curve of the Earth. Okay? How if we go a little bit higher now? There was a gentleman a couple years ago by the name of Felix Baumgartner. He did a Red Bull thing. He was sponsored by Red Bull. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Jumped off. And that it's real. Let's say we are at the elevation of the International Space Station. They're about 250 miles above the Earth. Okay? And let's say we're sitting right at that point, right there at 250 miles. If we calculate the horizon line for the International Space Station, it's about 1,400 miles. It's that much right there. Okay? Now, does that show you the entire Earth?
No.
No, it just shows you a section of the Earth, right? And if you're sitting at that point, looking 360 degrees, what would the horizon look like?
Still flat.
It would look flat, wouldn't it?
On the STS-132 mission of Atlantis.